I think we have a society that was built upon a construct that continues to marginalize black people and minorities and anyone who fits another category.
Anybody who's not a white man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So really the white man is marginalized at this point. Like the white people are getting attacked.
No, because they're not being attacked. I mean, but recognizing you guys, not you guys, whoever is blaming.
Like, I'm almost happy I'm not white because they're just blaming everything on white people. I almost feel bad for them now.
No, it's not that you're blaming, right? They are part of a system that has benefited them the most and continues to benefit them.
But no one's to blame. Like, they are not to blame for that system. White men are not to blame for the system. The system that benefits them, they are not to blame for. But they, now knowing that, they can be active actors in trying to make that system more equitable for everybody. That's all.
Active actors? What do you want from them? Leave them alone. I feel bad for them, for real, honestly.
No.
And welcome to another episode of Tacos and Shawarma with your hosts, Alan and Sebastian. We do have a guest coming a little bit later. He's late, which is why we don't have him here. But Alan and I wanted to talk about some of the comments we've been getting and some of the feedback on our videos.
Yeah. I posted a video about Pearl. And I didn't even know she had that many fans. A lot of her fans, like I got 3,000 hate comments saying that I'm a whore. I'm a prostitute. I'm an OnlyFans model. Mind you, I'm not any of those things. I've never stripped. I'm not promiscuous at all in any way. I don't promote promiscuity. I just don't like the fact that she bashes women on all her videos. Like, she has a fucking shirt that says women shouldn't vote. You know what I mean? I'm not even a feminist. It's just that it's kind of like unbelievable that a woman would say that about women. Like, not even just the vote thing, just like a lot of the things she say. It's kind of crazy. But I think the video that we posted kind of made her look good. Because I was like, she's an athlete. And the guy who did my braids, I showed him like a really feminine 2-braid style into a bun. And he made me look like a lesbian dyke. and so it made the video look even worse. They're like, what's up with bro's hair? And I did kind of look kind of like a lesbian butch. But luckily I don't really have that style like in all my other videos.
But it's not a good combo.
Yeah, it was just a bad situation.
Yeah, I'm absolutely shocked at how much feedback the engagement on that video is nuts.
Yeah.
But it's all hate.
She definitely seen it.
It's all hate. Did you tag her?
No, but a lot of other people did. But it's all men, so that just proves my point that she doesn't even have any female fans because all she does is talk bad about women.
I'm not one to like talk smack about people who are commenting on our page and are like trying to engage because, you know, numbers are numbers. But like a lot of those sentences did not make sense. Like I kind of just scrolled and I was like, these people are, I don't know what the hell they're saying. I can't make sense of it half the time.
Yeah, it actually made me realize that a lot of men really hate women. And I think it's because I think they're mad at women because they're not getting what they feel they deserve from them, you know?
Which is?
Like, you know, a lot of men I heard are lonely, you know what I mean? And they're not, you know, they see all these beautiful women, but they're not getting any attention from them. So they flip it into like, I hate you now because you won't engage with me, you know? Because men who get women, like unless they're closetedly gay, which there are those too, but the men that do get a lot of women, I don't think they hate women. Unless they're gay, you know?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of gay guys that don't hate women either, but I do get the sense of hating women on our comments right now.
Yeah, I never experienced that before in real life. Like, I've heard about it, and I'm not even a fucking liberal. Hello. You know what I mean? I saw Tommy Lee, he was jogging up my street today, and I wore the hat in the car, and he just stared at me. I'm like, why is he looking at me? I was like, oh.
The hat?
It's the hat. Yeah.
Does Tommy Lee not support Trump?
He definitely does.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just saying it just caught his eye because nobody in LA would ever dare wear a Trump hat outside.
I think there are plenty of people who wear Trump hats in LA.
Never seen it. It's a lie. Who?
You don't go out.
I've never seen it.
But there are a lot of Trump supporters.
In LA?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's more out of the closet now. A few years ago, we had to lie to you guys and say that we weren't Trump supporters. But now, after the disaster that Joe Biden has caused the country and that the Democrats have caused the country, we are now completely open with our Trump support.
What disaster in specific?
Just the embarrassment that America has become. You know, I think like I would leave. If someone like gave me a shit ton of money right now, like 50 million, I would be like somewhere else. I'd go to like Thailand or some shit.
That would be the price to get you to leave? 50?
Yeah, and 50 million or Italy or like whatever, somewhere else, you know, where it's more like, I just feel like America's a disaster. The schools, all the transgender shit, you know what I mean? Like all the flags, all of these rainbow flags. That sounds hateful, doesn't it? Let me refine what I'm saying. I have nothing against the gay community, by the way. I just don't think that I need to know what you do in private. Like, why do I need to know? Like, I'm not out here saying like, oh, I'm super straight. Here's the flag. You know, most people think I'm gay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what people think. So why do I have to know what you want to do?
With last week's hairdo, I think you convinced more people.
That I'm gay. It was not my fault. It was the gay hairdresser who did my hair.
It's the one that gave you attitude, right?
Yeah.
The one that you're never going back to?
Yeah. Yeah. He's never touching me again. Especially after that hairstyle. You know what's crazy? You don't really realize what you look like until you look at yourself.
In a mirror or something?
No, like on camera.
I guess that's kind of true.
I thought it looked good.
I thought it looked good. In person, it looked good.
In person, but on camera, it was giving dyke vibes. It was. I'm not even going to lie about it, but.
Well, not to mention you were also like wearing a sweater and.
Someone called me fat.
Again, it's because you wear a lot of baggy clothes.
Yeah. I have big titties. It makes
and
me
that
look
also,
fat.
yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
You actually look super tiny when I walked in right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I'm honestly at this point I'm just embracing the hate. I've accepted it. You know, I never thought that. I thought everybody would agree with me when I started this show. I thought like my views were like, you know, but now I'm realizing I'm the villain, and I'm okay with that.
I knew from the get-go that you had outrageous views that people would respond to.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like what's outrageous?
I mean, just everything you say is outrageous. There's no middle ground with what you say. It's always just like the most extreme version of like, if you hated mayo, you'd like really hate mayo. Like no mayo ever, fuck mayo.
Yeah.
Those are the positions you take.
Yeah, I think it's a red pill thing. But I'm about to become like purple pill because I'm not like, I don't want to be. Like, these people are very hateful. And I guess I'm one of them. You know what I mean? But after seeing how much hate they gave me, I'm like, damn, am I like that?
Oh, no.
Do I have this much hate in my heart? And it's like, I don't. But I don't want to be like that. But I'm not like a LGBTQ plus fucking advocate. You know what I mean? Or like a Joe Biden supporter. But like, you know, I'm more of like, let's just relax. So we could start like a new community called the Purple Pill. So you take the red and the blue together and mix it. And we need a new community. We need to calm down, you know, for all the people who don't hate women and are not like so fucking crazy.
Slowly changing, slowly evolving.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought I'd never see the day before you say something.
Well, I
like
never
that.
said I was a red pill person. I just never realized how crazy they are. But you know why? It's because of COVID.
Like everyone had like cabin fever and now it's just coming out.
No, it's just like the whole mask thing that really pissed us off. Like when I used to go into stores, like, you put on your mask. Like, who the fuck are you talking to? You put on your mask and mind your fucking business, lady. You know what I mean? Like, don't fucking talk to me. Do you even work here? You don't even work here. You know what I mean? And then they're like following you around, like, you need to put on your mask. And then I saw like videos of people, like people threw garbage on other people's head for not wearing a mask. Like they got violent about this mask thing. And we didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then now the whole gay shit in the school, we don't like that shit either. So it's like now we feel like we have to fight. And so it's becoming like hateful by accident.
I've said this on earlier episodes. Like I think the core of somebody to take on that stance, like from the get-go, that's a core that everyone like on sort of that side or comes from that side, they all share that in common with each other.
What?
Like on both sides, both liberals and conservatives, that like core to like want to get violent.
Hi.
And
How
to
are
like
you?
want to get that way. It's like from the same principle. We just started our conversation on politics. Shaka, welcome Shaka Smith to the table.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good
We're starting to talk about Al has seen all of the recent hate comments that we've been getting on our videos.
I can't see you. Hold on.
Yeah. How do we?
Can someone? Can you?
Andrew, are you?
Oh, okay. Wait. No, we're fixing it.
Yeah. There we go.
Shit, look at those
Bring it a little
muscles.
closer.
You look like you
A little
belong
closer.
on
Yeah, there you go.
Venice Beach
Perfect.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that where you hang out?
No. Just the gym.
Just the gym? No, that shit is natural. That shit is genetic.
No.
You do work out a lot though.
Yeah.
How's everything?
Good. Can't complain. Good weather today.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
I put my hat on because people think I'm a liberal.
Oh wow. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, and also like I think it'll be good for clips. But
Oh,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah,
offended by it, right?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Not
good.
at all.
You want to pick up your mic a little bit more? Just perfect.
Okay.
Shaka's recent video kind of went viral on our page.
Yeah.
He said he likes Joe Biden.
I did not expect it.
I didn't expect it was like an accidental post, like, oh, let's post this video. You know what I mean? We just have it in the archive.
Yeah.
And people are still commenting right now on it. They're going fucking crazy.
I don't know what about it made it so like a touch point.
They just they hung on to like one.
The whole page between me and you. It's like all hate comments. It's like 99% hate comments.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just
Isn't
like,
it?
wow. I didn't know it was such a sensitive subject. Trump and the tweets. I guess it was a perfect storm, but yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Would you vote for Biden again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, let's see how the race shapes up, right? Let's see what's going to happen. But
She's just imagining all of the comments we're just about to get for that. You just doubled down.
Well, no, of course. I mean, of course. You got to double down. Yeah, the country's at stake. Of course, you got to double down. Oh my gosh.
He said he would vote for Joe Biden again. Oh shit, my fucking makeup. Hold on. Oh wow, I never heard that before. Sorry.
Wait, you must know some people that voted for Biden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they would vote for him again.
Well, I mean, if he's a nominee, yeah. I mean, and I don't see anything derailing that right now. But if he's a nominee, especially if it's Trump, he to me strikes the perfect opposite tone of Trump. He's like the perfect antithesis to Trump.
Bro. I shouldn't say bro. That's another thing I realized. Let me rewind that. Okay. Shaka. They don't like that. It gives them dyke vibes too.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Apparently that's what our audience
Yeah,
is.
people think I'm a dyke.
Don't tone yourself down though because of what the audience thinks. Be who you are.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm trying to be who I am. I don't even like that I say bro, because when I went back to Brooklyn recently, a lot of the girls say bro and it's annoying.
They say yeah.
But I need to stop. How could you vote for somebody who's like falling all over the place, can't put together a sentence, like talks about chocolate ice cream? The other lady, the fucking vice president, she's a disaster. She seems drunk all the time, every time.
Well, there might be an optics problem, but then there's also what they're actually doing and the bills they're putting forth.
What are they doing?
I mean, we've had the largest bills in history that we've had passed under Biden.
Tell me about it.
The Infrastructure Act, the CHIPS Act.
Tell me.
Well, the CHIPS Act, which is now they're putting billions of dollars in our semiconductors so that we're not getting those chips from China, so we are less reliant on China. That we like that, right?
Isn't it going to be
it's already happened.
the no fuel? What's it called?
No, the CHIPS
The
Act.
energy?
It's about semiconductors and making the chips here at
That's
home.
what the CPUs.
As opposed to making them in China. So that like we're getting more reliant on U.S. manufacturers for that. And so that's a positive thing I think we all agree with, right?
I don't know. I don't know about it. I know that it's.
I think that's part of the problem.
So the infrastructure bill that was also passed, you know, that's billions of dollars in our roads and our highways that need to be updated. That's a positive.
Yeah, we need to be updated.
So I'm saying,
sure.
so these are things that have passed that are positive, that they are advocating for and advocated for, that a lot of Republicans didn't, because they just didn't want to agree with the administration. Not that they didn't believe those things had to get done, but they didn't want to agree with the administration. So when we look at what they're doing, I think I avoid some of the pitfalls of what the optics are. Even with Trump, you know, he had a lot of gaffes as well. I avoided those optics because that didn't really tell me the story of what's happening. I need to know what he's passing, what he's advocating for.
You don't think we look weak?
No, because other presidents make those mistakes too. They also fall. They also make mistakes.
That's not mistakes, bro. He's old. He looks like he's on his deathbed.
Yeah, but you quickly ignore how many gaffes Trump had and how old he looked.
And I think other presidents have had
look,
similar,
you don't even remember it. You didn't even process it.
Yeah, but you can look clips after clips where they have the whole reel of the gaffes. So my point is, am I concerned about his age? Of course. He's very old. The first time in modern history we've seen presidents this age, even presidential nominees this age. So of course that's a concern. But when I look at, and I might be wanting to push forth other people that I feel are better suited. But if he ends up being the nominee, then I'm likely going to vote for him, especially if the Republican nominee is Trump. If somehow the Republicans get their morals and their things together and they get a nominee that is a viable option, then I would look at that person. But I just can't see it happening.
How do you feel about all the money we've sent to Ukraine?
I think it's been necessary. I think there's probably wastefulness there. The government's always wasteful. So I think there needs to be strict oversight about where that money's going and how it's being used. But in general, I think it's positive because I do think that that's a threat that eventually will threaten the world.
How?
Well, you have Russia, who I don't believe would stop with Ukraine. I think they would continue going on to other countries as well and wanting to put together that whole Soviet Union bloc again. And I think they would then feel that they had the right and the power, especially if the world let that happen and ceded it to them, to do whatever they wanted around the world. And that it will definitely not be in the interest of America.
Okay. Do you think it's in the interest of America that Joe Biden put in like this thing where the IRS needs to be notified every time you have a deposit more than $600?
No, I don't like that at all.
Okay. So why do you think he did that? And he hired 60,000 new IRS agents. Why do we need that?
So, he wanted the agents hired because the wealthiest, the top 1%.
Do you believe that bullshit?
100%. That's who has the ability and the money to skirt the laws. So he wanted to close those loopholes and be able to track those people down and track that money down. Now the $600 limit, that's not targeting them. So I don't like that part. So, but in terms of why they hired the IRS agents, that's about getting the top 1%.
You don't know that. You don't know what it's about. You can just assume that they're doing the right thing.
No, I'm not assuming. I'm not assuming it. That's who they're targeting. That's who they're targeting. That's who they're directed to target.
60,000 people need to target a very small percentage of people. Does it make sense? The
percent of people that own the 90% of wealth in the world. Yes, that's why.
In the world, it's only Americans. It's not in the world. The IRS only tracks Americans.
Yeah, but the wealth is owned in America.
Yeah, the majority of that wealth is a lot of Americans.
It's only a few people.
That top 1% of billionaires is not just a few people. That's a lot of people.
It's less than 60,000 people.
And those people have the resources to hide money in various ways that require 60,000 people to track it down.
You don't think Joe Biden hides money?
I don't think Joe Biden hides money to avoid tax liability. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I mean, that's why you give up your tax returns when they ask for them.
Yeah. And you free, except for one president.
As a politician, yeah.
Okay. What else? I'm sorry,
But we had some agreement there on some positive things that Biden has done. I think those are the points where you jump off and you say to people, well, let's move from here and see where else we can find agreement rather than where we can find division.
We don't want him. We don't want him.
No, but I'm saying right now you have him. So what is it that
we want him to die?
And do you think that's counterproductive? That's a clip out.
No, we want him to take a nap and just stay there.
But don't you think that's counterproductive to achieving the things that you might want for your family, your life?
I don't think he's going to do anything.
No, because on principle alone, they're just like, no.
I don't think he's doing anything to benefit the people. At this point, it's like a regime.
But so you don't have any concerns of tomorrow for your family that might be affected by the things the government does today?
Yeah, I'm concerned every day, but I don't
About
think it's
specifically
gonna
what?
about I don't think there's like they're gonna give us an ability to make money like there used to be. Like
So,
the
but what you- but
American
what-
dream.
Yeah.
And you think that the president has a direct?
No, but in what way? In what way? Like what?
Like they talk about like the CBDC, the
central bank.
the digital currency that they want to implement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're going to track every single dollar that we spend and how we spend it. And
They didn't say they were going to track every single dollar. When you have digital currency, you have the ability to know exactly how that money is moved throughout the system.
I mean, but that's really none of their fucking business.
And so that's your concern for tomorrow. That's
One of my concerns.
Yeah.
I just don't trust the government.
And you
at
don't
all.
think you
you know what else is my concern? The
Yeah.
chemtrails, the water, just them geoengineering the weather.
And you don't think if you lobbied your Democratic representatives that they would not hear you out and then try to do something about that?
No, I don't think they care about us.
And even if
Just
those
the
issues,
Democrats.
even if those issues align with themselves,
What do you mean?
if you have Democrats who are also saying, "I'm concerned about the digital dollar,"
But
and
the
then you're
Democrats
concerned
aren't
about
saying
it.
that. They're saying
No, some people are concerned. A lot of Democrats are concerned about the digital dollar. You have a lot of Democrats who are concerned about chemtrails. So don't you believe that you then have the ability to reach out to them, reach across the aisle, and say, "You're my representative. Make sure this is an issue that you already care about, and I want you to know that you have my voice going forward on this issue." That's productive for your life, right?
What do you think about Robert Kennedy?
I like him. I just don't like the fact that his voice it makes him sound weak. You know what I mean?
It's an
can't-
optics issue again.
He can't represent us like that when he talks like that. We need a strong, powerful man in office.
Which Trump was the ideal
Trump's the
representation
best president we ever
of a
had.
strong ideal man.
Funny, I haven't heard too many people criticize Robert Kennedy's
No, I
voice.
don't-
I haven't heard anyone say anything about it. Really.
Well, because most people know it's a medical condition.
yeah, but
Well, I'm not hating on him for it. I'm just
No,
saying
no,
that
I'm saying-
because of his voice, it's not giving I'm powerful. It's giving I have a medical condition.
to me, it just always sounds like he's lying to me. And I'm like,
Really?
Yeah, it just sounds
Why?
like because it sounds like he's equivocating when he's speaking. So I'm like, is that your voice or is that like what you're doing? But yeah.
Yeah, it's his voice, and that I think that is not going to work for us. We need like a powerful, strong.
And why did you think Trump embodied that?
Because I truly believe that Trump cares about the people. I think he cares about the people, and I think he cares about America. I think
Was there a moment that occurred to you, or like what about what he's done, or what about something he said that gave you?
Yeah, I like the fact that he's like, when I'm in office, like there is not gonna we're gonna ban the gender shit. You know what I mean? Like the
And that made you feel like he cared for you as a person?
I just feel like he's more honest. Yeah, I feel like he wants to keep America rich, like not get. I don't think he would have gave Ukraine all that money. When he was in office, I was making personally more money. My stocks were doing better.
Wait, but the stock market is up since then.
Allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly? I see it every day on my phone.
Yeah, I see it too, but I don't know.
My stocks are up.
When Biden came into office, everything crashed. Originally, yeah.
Oh
it did.
yeah. The dip from the election, but now the stock market's higher than
Yeah.
it was ever under Trump. So, I mean,
That's what they say. But
no, it hit fresh highs. Like it's tracked. Not what they
yeah,
say.
yeah,
it's what
no,
it
I
is.
know, but I'm just, I don't know. I just feel like when Trump was in office, people had more money.
I mean, there were stimulus checks given out.
Yeah,
There
for
was
sure.
unemployment benefits that were expanded to people that wouldn't ordinarily get them. So people may have had more money in that short term.
But that's also
And then there was
crisis.
PPP loan fraud, a lot of fraud that took place that loans were forgiven. So people had more money, but it wasn't more money under a system that was sustainable. It was more money because of a special.
Yeah, I just feel like Trump has like the old school American like mindset that I feel like is lost. Like I don't see America as I used to, like the way it's supposed, in my mind, it's supposed to be like
But-
the meat and potatoes.
But Trump was never meat and potatoes. He never worked his way up from the bottom. He never had to scrounge and tough it out and, by
No.
pull himself by the bootstrap. He was gifted $1 million by his father.
It's not a lot of
He-
money.
$1 million
then.
back in the we're talking about way back when, the 70s.
Yeah.
And so he had this organization. So he didn't live that life. He avoided the military. Bone spurs. they say. But yeah, so he never lived that life. So
Medical condition,
why would that resonate? Yeah. So let me not attack it. But why would that not why would that resonate to you? And that's what always got me about Trump was I actually loved Trump before the election. I loved The Apprentice. He was so rude. It was fun. It was fun television.
Yeah.
But when people started identifying with him, I said, why would anyone identify with this guy who's never lived a day as if he was a common person or had a struggle or anything like that? So that always baffled me.
Yeah, I don't know. We just like him. We love him.
Because the bravado,
we just love him. He just represents
the narrative.
He just represents what we feel like everything Biden isn't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he's your guys' golden calf.
yeah.
It's just dance around
He's
it.
not. He hasn't been in politics his whole life. Like, we just believe in him.
I think it might be maybe it.
I'm not really a politics all the way
Yeah,
person.
a lot of people who support Trump are like that. They don't read.
But you
Into politics. They have no idea about policy.
Yeah, but
They really don't even follow economics.
Well, that's what gets me is sometimes they're voting against their own interests. And I'm just like, but because I want you to win. I want everyone to win, right? I genuinely want people to win.
But how could we win with a president who looks like he's about to die?
Because he's still fighting for the middle class while he's
No, he's
while
not.
he's on the way down.
No, he's not. When you're tracking $600 deposits in other people's bank account, you're not fighting for the middle class.
But when he's trying to cut taxes for the middle class and collect more from the wealthy to make sure that Social Security and
I don't
Medicare
see that.
is
They
paid.
said that they raise taxes.
No, that I think it was the Infrastructure Act that is extended Medicare so that Medicare is going to be covered through whatever many years. They capped the insulin price at $35, so that can't be skyrocketed through the roof. So I mean, they're doing stuff to make sure the middle class benefits.
I don't know.
And so I mean, and that for me is where Republicans I think just kind of went really wayward with Trump, but for a long time they just kind of shifted away from these values of like, what do we want? Small government, states' rights, government that governs least governs best.
I just feel, I don't know. It's like, okay, like what's going on with the homeless like nobody's doing anything about the homeless people. And I feel like if Trump was in office, that he would try to do something about it, even though it's more of like a state by state thing. Like, I feel like he would want to help get rid of them.
Well, in one way, I'm sure, but
yeah. So what? I mean, it's a survival of the fittest. You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, clarify what you meant.
But actually, but I actually wish that you guys would take that mentality more seriously, because a lot of conservatives don't, right? They'll say survival of the fittest, but truly in a world in which that is true, in a world in which you do have to fight for your dollar, whether it is through actual skill sets or intelligence because you're developing something, like there are a lot of people in that camp that would not be able to survive. They're currently just draining the system because they're on welfare, right? The majority of people on welfare are conservative. That's just straight fact data.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, because the poorest neighborhoods in the country happen to vote conservative, and
states.
they're all on welfare.
Yeah.
But they're not they are not survival of the fittest.
She's like, I'm voting for Biden.
No, I'm not. I would never vote for Biden. But I don't know. There's more people in Democratic states than there are in the whole country. Like, there's more people in California than there are in like 10 red states. You know what I mean? So what are you saying? I'm sure there's more people on welfare here.
It's true, but like, again, you look at the numbers, there is still a mass majority of people who are on welfare coming from conservative backgrounds.
People that are farmers are on welfare?
Farmers are on a type of welfare.
Yeah, they get their subsidy. Yeah, they get subsidies and been subsidized for years by the U.S. government.
Generations.
Yeah.
Okay, but is that welfare?
Yeah, technically,
absolutely.
it's a social system.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I don't want Joe Biden as our president.
But you would vote for Trump.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't see my hat?
Well, I mean, I thought maybe through the course of the conversation you had
I changed
shifted.
my mind. No, because I don't really I don't really agree with. First of all, I don't like how the whole, like, again, with the gender thing, right? Like, the sexuality thing. I don't think that needs to be taught to our kids. Like, why do I need to know who you're sleeping with? Why am I celebrating who you're sleeping with? I don't care.
But that's not happening. What do you mean? Why?
Okay,
like,
they had Pride Day at the White House, and a transgender chick
at the White House
who won't come to our podcast. I've been DMing you, Rose. You should answer me. She fucking flashed the White House.
No, but you said in schools, like education, like so. I mean, they're maybe teaching them that these people exist, which I believe should happen. You believe people should know that people exist that have differences. That's like being in an all-white school, not telling someone that black people exist around the world.
We talked about that last time.
What is what the sexual differences? Like what you do in your bedroom is your business.
And I don't think they're teaching kids what's happening in the bedroom.
So what are they teaching us? What do we need to know? What are you guys like so passionate about that we need to know who you're fucking?
Well, no, it's
you guys.
It's
what do you mean? They have Pride Day, Pride Month. What is the point of that? Why do we care?
Awareness. It's awareness.
We are aware. We're overly aware.
But why do you think pride is a sexual thing? Pride.
What is it?
It's about having pride in who you are because you've been marginalized throughout history. That's like Black History Month. That's why we have it, because we've been marginalized throughout history. That history wasn't prioritized, so we want to celebrate the history.
The history of gay people being marginalized?
Yeah.
Are they marginalized now?
Of course. I think
this conversation being gay is like actually like a one-up. Like the gay community.
A one-up?
Yeah. It's like the strongest community ever. Like you don't want to play with the gay community.
That's actually, so I just finished having a conversation with a friend recently about that. Because like you talk about this idea of salient identities, right? Like which identities do you have that come to the forefront? If someone asks you who you are, can you describe yourself? Your salient identities are the things that you name first. Oftentimes they're your culture, your religion, your family history, right? I am a straight man. I'm, American, blah, 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 yada, yada, right? Then you have this idea of like, identities that are not as salient, right? Identities you do not stop to think about. I, as a straight man in America, I never think about my identity as a straight man. Like it is the least thing I ever think about.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
You, as a woman,
yeah,
I experience a privilege in that is the least identity that I think about, but you have to think about you're a woman all the time, right? Because you're reminded constantly that you are a woman in this society. And I just had this conversation with a gay friend of mine who is a man, right? Mm-hmm. So he actually thought about it and he's like, I don't think about being a man. I know I'm a man. It's not a salient identity, but I am actually always aware that I am a gay man. Like every day I am reminded that I am a gay man, and it is a salient identity. And that is a privilege that he does not experience the way that I do, right? That no matter what, he's always goes out in the world and he's always now reminded that he is a gay man.
And we see social media, so we see maybe a celebration, but you're talking about small towns and places in America that
anywhere outside of Los Angeles.
Yeah, no one's celebrated, and things are hard for them. So there's no idea in my mind that it's not a marginalized community, because it has been, and we look at the rate of suicides and the rate of homicides and the hate crimes.
Because it's not accepted.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's not tolerated.
Suicide. I wanted to talk about my boyfriend that killed himself. I wanted to tell that story.
Was this after being in a relationship with you?
Yeah. But also, like most of the people that I know that committed suicide, none of them were gay.
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying like all this suicide talk, like why do we keep talking about suicide? People,
because the rates of suicide amongst the �LGBT community is far higher than the straight community.
Really?
That's why, yeah.
Yeah, because of lack of tolerance, they don't feel like they belong.
Yeah, they can't express themselves in the same way. So,
but maybe some of them have mental illness.
I mean, I think depression is a mental illness in some ways.
So you think depression is only gay people have depression?
No, I think it's brought on by the fact that we live in a society that marginalizes gay people.
I don't think they're marginalized. I think they're like one of the strongest communities out there. Honestly. I honestly think they're like as powerful as the Jews.
You think people...
I think the gays and the Jews are like neck and neck. Like you don't want to fuck with them.
Right. And don't. I will say, in terms of cultural contribution, they are pretty neck and neck.
Yeah. So what are you talking about?
You're gonna say you don't think gay people are all discriminated against in this country?
Only when they're like acting a
by
certain type of
themselves
way. No.
when they're not in a group, Shaka.
Only when they're acting a certain type of way.
Yeah, when they're acting gay
Like
and not
what?
in a group.
Yeah, acting.
I mean,
If they're not in a pack.
Hold on.
What do you
What does acting gay mean? Okay,
I'm asking you because you said
sleep-
you said acting in a certain way.
Yeah, like if you're like really loud with it in a place that is not, you're saying there's a small amount.
You're loud just in general, right?
Yeah.
You're not being attacked for just being a loud person
I'm
with your
attacked
beliefs.
all the time.
What?
I don't go outside. I don't
Well.
leave my house. But I'm just saying, like, if you're a normal person, just act regular. No one's gonna come after you for who you're sleeping
Act
with.
regular.
But
Actually
what's
just-
regular?
yeah.
Like if regular is not, it's your definition of regular. It's what you perceive to be regular, right?
Mhm.
Like you're defining regular. So if my regular doesn't fit your definition, then all of a sudden I'm not regular. Now it's okay to discriminate against me.
No, God forbid.
But that's
I
what you're
wasn't saying that.
Well, you're saying that person to act regular. So
But I don't think people are discriminating against gay people anymore. I think gay people gays and lesbians should remove themselves out of the LGBT. I feel like the LGBTQ is like 𝐄𝐎𝐒,
so
whatever,
it's just a war on trans
is a
people now.
religion. And I think the gay people and the lesbians and the bisexuals, which is only for women, by the way. Being bisexual, you can only be a bisexual woman. So yeah, so
that was a sound clip from last week.
yeah, so the gays and lesbians should start their own thing because the others are taking it to another level. I saw a lady talking to her little 2-year-old son, and she's like, "Are you a boy or a girl?" He was 2 years old. "Are you a boy or a girl?" The kid couldn't even speak.
Well, I think it's problematic to try to split up marginalized communities. I think marginalized communities have to stick together because once you come after the leaks, you're coming after everybody. And so I definitely think they should not be segregating themselves from their community. I think it's a community as a whole that needs to be watching out for one another. And I say that for all of us. Like, why as a woman are you not on the front lines? Why as a minority I'm trying to be on the front lines for everybody else is marginalized? Because I understand it. I get it, And I feel like...
Who are you marginalized by?
I think we have a society that was built upon a construct that continues to marginalize Black people and minorities and anyone who fits in other categories.
Anybody who's not a white man.
Yeah.
Oh man! So really, the white man is marginalized at this point. Like the white people are getting attacked.
No, because they're not being attacked. I mean, but recognizing
you guys, not you guys, whoever is blaming. Like I'm almost happy I'm not white because they're just blaming everything on white people. I almost feel bad for them now.
No. Well, no, it's not that you're blaming, right? They are part of a system that has benefited them the most and continues to benefit them the
but
most.
no one's to blame. Like they are not to blame for that system. White men are not to blame for the system. The system that benefits them, they are not to blame for. But they now knowing that they can be active actors and trying to make that system more equitable for everybody. That's all.
Active actors? What do you want from them? Leave them alone. I feel bad for them for real, honestly.
No, I want when
they're being attacked.
I want when a white guy feels that there's injustice towards someone, a marginalized voice or someone in the marginalized community, that they step up and speak up for that person. And if it's a law that needs to be changed, change the law. If it's just someone's behavior that needs to be corrected, correct that behavior, and do that in private.
Thing to say.
I don't. If someone's using the N-word in private, I want that white guy with his white friends to say, "Hey, no, don't do that." Even though there's no one here to hear it, I want.
There are white people like that. In California,
they're typically liberals, and then they get shut down.
And so when you ask,
shut down, they have a whole community.
So when you ask, but when you ask,
luckily we have a state stronghold.
But when you ask what I want, that's what I want. That's what I would like to be happening. But they're not to blame for the system that they benefit from. That's just a reality of what has taken place.
Well, they're to blame if they continue to try to perpetuate.
Now you're hating on white people too?
No, I'm just saying. Look,
you come across as white.
I'm white passing-ish.
Yeah, you need to relax. I'm not even white. I'm like, damn, like you guys are putting a lot of pressure on people that weren't slave masters and like they have nothing to do with anything.
No, I don't think. I think they're feeling pressure, but I don't think it's necessarily even put upon them. I think if they were to look at the literature and the words, we're talking about a system and a construct. We're not saying that you, as a white person today, are to blame for the system and the construct. We're saying there's things you can do to make it more equitable if you so choose, but you are not to blame for the current system because you're in it, you live it. You're not to blame for it. We're just letting you know that it and making you aware of it so that you might decide to act because you now know what's going on or you see something from a different vantage point.
Yeah, it's just hard with the political divide in the country to stand up for the other side, whether it's white or black or whatever. Like, it's hard to stand up for any values that don't align with your own. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what color you are.
I think there's a lesson in tolerance right there.
Yeah.
And advocacy in general.
I think Obama actually tried to bridge that divide, but a lot of Democrats didn't see that and they didn't go along with his messaging on it. I think even Bush had messaging that
Bush was the worst president. He was like, him and Obama were, well, Joe Biden, I think, is actually the worst president.
Just in the sense of, I thought, after 9/11, Bush went out and said, Muslims are not to blame. These are your neighbors. These are your friends. These are your family.
Yeah, he's to blame.
So,
he was to blame for 9/11.
I'm just saying, in terms of bridging the divide of society and like talking to people that he knew might be marginalized, I thought he did that effectively. I thought Obama also came in and said, look, a lot of white people feel like there is a taking, that things are not equitable because they're losing things as we make things more equitable. And we need to speak to those people and see how we can make a transition to a more equitable society not feel like a loss for some people.
Okay, I have a question. Yeah. So do you think it's fair that now people are saying, like, let's support black businesses, or like, Black Girls Rock, or like black, I don't know what, you're supporting black this and black that
because of the recognition.
But if someone did it the other way around, was like, oh, only shop at white businesses, let white girls rock, it would be a big problem.
Well, you have to realize historically, these people can go into banks and get these loans a lot easier. They have more access to capital because of the fact that they're white, because of the system that doesn't exist.
No, if you have good credit, you have more access to...
No. They've held banks, liable for turning down black people with good credit and accepting white people with worse credit. So banks have been doing that, discriminating against black people on that level for a long time, and the banks have been held liable.
People of color, just in general.
And they've been found liable, and they've admitted to it. And so that's already been happening. And so that's why we support those initiatives, because they can't walk into a bank the same way with a good credit and get any kind of loan they want, or they get an interest rate that's just doesn't make the loan feasible. So that's why we support those businesses.
No, but I feel like it's bringing back racism in a way, because I feel like if we want to be one, we should all support each other. It shouldn't be black this or white that. It should just be us.
But when it wasn't.
But it's not like that anymore, though. I feel like now there's more acceptance of, like, there's a lot of mixed biracial couples and families, and like everything is kind of mixed now.
I mean, they had biracial families in the 60s. I mean,
not as many.
But you still had Jim Crow laws. I mean, so the point is, just because that was taking place, that wasn't a metric of, where we were as a society on race. I think we're still at the point where black people are still getting discriminated with good credit from the loans that other people are receiving.
Well, that's also because historically they've never had the opportunity to buy equity into the system that currently exists, which favors white people, right? Yeah. The fact that their families have less collateral, less history of family owning property, et cetera, et cetera.
So these are ways that the community, and sometimes sponsored by state and local governments, can give some equity back to the community. And we should all be championing that.
Yeah.
Same thing with women. Like, we should have these businesses that are getting women funds just for women, because we know how difficult it was for women. Women couldn't even have a credit card, not too long ago, without, a permission from their husband.
Yeah.
So
if it was up to Al, it would still be that way.
No, it wouldn't.
I mean, it's like you couldn't work, you couldn't get credit, you couldn't pay for your stuff on your own. So now you do want to fund these businesses because they historically didn't have the chance to get that kind of funding. And that's limited the funding today. So that's why we have these initiatives.
Yeah, but I feel like you should fund a business if you like it. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be just because someone is of a certain race or ethnicity or gender.
You're still free as a consumer to choose wherever you want to go shop, right? It's the element of awareness. It's like, here is an additional element of awareness, just so that these people could, in a world that existed previously, they did not have fair access to loans. Yeah. They did not have fair access to build their business. So if you'd like, here's some awareness to come support this small
business. You ever
business.
shop at a mom and pop store and then realize it was owned by a corporation? You're like, oh my God, I thought I was really supporting the local community. And it's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Same as like shopping local or just shopping organic or certified B Corp.
She's almost there. By 2024, she's almost there.
No.
Yeah,
she's almost there. She's thinking.
I don't think we'll get her in enough time.
She's thinking.
2026, she'll start coming around.
She said she's wearing the Yale sweater. She's almost there.
No, fuck no. What else? What do you want to talk about?
I'm not too sure. I mean, we could have actually very much kept going.
Yeah, I mean, the Trump indictments, those are pretty crazy.
Right? Yeah. I'm actually so behind on reading about politics in general.
Yeah.
I'm like really far behind. I'm not well read.
We don't believe anything.
You really don't.
No.
We
stick beside him.
But, I mean, but you know, he took the documents and he had them in the bathroom. You know that, right? Yeah.
No, she doesn't believe it.
Didn't Joe Biden have documents in his garage?
But you do believe that Trump had the confidential documents in the bathroom, right? You believe that.
Okay, and?
You believe that those documents were not supposed to leave the White House?
I have no idea.
So it doesn't bother you that when he was asked to return sensitive documents, he didn't do it? And he kept them, like documents he wasn't supposed to show to people that didn't have clearance, he showed them to people without clearance?
And did so knowingly? On audio tape?
His own words.
What did he show?
So apparently he had a document that referred to, I think it was Iran's nuclear capabilities. I believe that's what the document was. But either way, he's on tape saying, here's this document. I can't.
I'm not supposed to show you.
I'm not supposed to show you. I could have declassified it, but of course I can. I'm no longer president. Like so, he says all the things that to incriminate himself, and he apparently shows a document. And then now they updated the indictment to reference that particular document and that particular wrongdoing. So that doesn't concern you that he's doing that with potential, whether it's nuclear secrets or any document that's deemed top secret.
Trump can do no wrong.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I don't trust the government that we have right now. I don't trust the government at all. I think we should just get rid of it. Like we should. I don't believe even our votes count. Like I don't even think any elections count. I think it's just. I think there's people at the top that really decide everything for us, and they just think that, like they're just. So how did
Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton? I mean, if that were the case, he would have never had a chance.
Yeah.
Right. So things happen. Obviously, the votes count.
Yeah, but now they don't, because I don't really see a lot of
the
quick 4-year turnaround under Donald Trump.
Who would have voted? Like you would vote for Biden, but I don't think there's a lot of people like you.
I think underestimate how much Trump perturbed everyone else. Like to hear this, I mean, for a lot of people, that Access Hollywood tape was it. To hear them say, "You just grab women by the," that was like, this guy can't be the president of the United States, So I think you underestimate how perturbed people were by the fact that this was even representative of our country.
They're only voting the other side because they don't like Trump.
Well, and that's a strong motivator, especially when you believe liking Trump might mean the loss of the country and democracy as a whole.
The country is already lost.
Even the idea of like how people vote or what they're using to inform themselves and how to vote is like radically different than it used to be. I was just having a conversation with a friend recently about Barry Goldwater, who is a very staunch Republican back in his day. And he's been looked at for his politics as a staunch Republican, as a staunch conservative for several years. And we currently live in a world in which a lot of Republicans currently, if Barry Goldwater was to run for president, the Republican Party would not vote for him.
He'd be a rhino.
Yeah. And that's funny. But like to me that I'm like there's this guy who's principled conservative through and through. Yeah. In almost a way that would have been offensive back then. He was like a Trump of his era. And yet today no one would vote for him. I mean, he's solid on that side.
I thought I was a principled conservative once upon a time. Right. And then I just saw the parties just continue to move further and further away from what it said it was and, its goals. And I said, whoa, that's not at all what I thought it was going to be or was,
Yeah, I don't even. Like I said,
I was a member of Federalist Society, printing these newspapers about how great conservatism was and how great it was for minorities.
So what changed you?
Oh, I just saw that the votes didn't align, the way the money was spent didn't align, the Supreme Court decisions didn't align, what they were writing didn't align. It just, it was sort of like a smoke and mirrors. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even think we really have free choice. I think we're all slaves.
Well, I mean, that I don't believe.
You don't?
No. I mean, of course we have free choice. Slaves.
Yeah. Like now we're going to need a visa to leave the country in 2024.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's what do you mean?
Like America's a visa.
Yeah, well, visas are required by like other countries.
Yeah.
Other countries.
Yeah, like
are-
we're losing our rights.
Well, so you think Americans just should be able to go to any country that they want?
Yes.
Without being asked questions?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to get it to travel to other countries. It's not.
Well, we don't have the world's most powerful passport anymore. Singapore does.
Oh,
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Singapore has the world's most powerful passport.
And that just means.
And
what?
Japan's number 2.
Means
You can travel to the most amount of countries with the
Without-
least amount of restrictions.
Interesting.
But with the way that we've had homegrown terror here in our country, over the last 10, 20 years, and I would be concerned by other countries by letting people in from the U.S. I feel like we are getting slightly more radicalized as a country, and hopefully you can turn the tide on that. But the political climate, I think, is evidence of that, and I think Trump inflamed those notions with the tweets.
The tweet. You're still talking about the
There you
tweets.
go.
Nobody cares about the
But
tweets.
people forgot that he was also saying things against Kim Jong Un, and
Didn't he go to South Korea?
before they had the beautiful love affair.
Was it North Korea?
North Korea.
North
And he's
Korea.
calling him Little Rocket Man, and like that had never been done, especially to this guy who was threatening already to bomb the U.S. So of course I had to wake up and see if I had to drive eastward, to make sure I avoided rockets from North Korea too. But that was a valid concern. I think people forget that as well, that he was really provoking that relationship.
I thought he went to North Korea and shook his hand.
Prior
Prior to. I mean, he was on Twitter mocking this guy that before that time, no U.S. president was talking to him in that way. In private, they were stern with him, but they weren't literally just calling him names,
I mean, but there's a lot of fucked up thing going on in North Korea. Like the people are living really messed up and nobody's doing anything about
Trump
it.
wasn't advocating for that. He was simply just needling the guy as if to say, we dare you to fire a rocket at us. And I don't think that's great for U.S. diplomacy, and certainly not great for my personal security when I live in California. I'm thinking, wait,
It's
can this reach here?
such a weird show of power too. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead, I dare you, bomb us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have a
thanks.
citizenry to worry about. And that's how I knew Trump really didn't care,
Yeah.
And of course, if anybody was going to get bombed, it would have been L.A.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's I had to make sure.
Yeah.
Do I need
I
to
mean,
get in the
if it's
car
our
and just
time,
drive?
it's our
Where do
time.
I gotta go?
America is just fucked altogether. I want to move.
I'm shocked at this depressive, pessimistic
I've mentioned this on an early podcast.
view.
I am okay with the country just splitting down the middle.
No.
Like
No.
I'm fine with it.
No, I want to save our conservative brothers and sisters, all everyone.
Oh, good luck.
No, I think there's going to come a time. I mean, it's got to, right? There's got to be something this man does.
No, so talk about conspiracy theories. I actually think there is a difference in neurological development. There are two different types of brain, two different physical types of brain that are currently developing.
Yeah.
One where the amygdala, the limbic system is extremely bigger and much more powerful than the prefrontal cortex, right? And then you have an entire set of people where the prefrontal cortex is actually, because this is still the youngest part of the brain. This is still part of the neurological network is still being in development. And I think some people are developing this much faster than others.
I flirted with that idea in my head, but
Hold on. This guy was on our show.
oh no, oh yeah.
It's criminalizing questioning an election and calling for peaceful protest.
That's
The
false.
precedent being set here is that if you practice free speech, if we question an election, if we call for peaceful protest, you can be criminally indicted.
No, that's false.
In this country.
Absolutely
That's
false.
probably the most dangerous one. As much as we get fatigued and a lot of this stuff, it's like, okay, they're doing it again and again. This is the one I think you actually have to pay the most attention to.
It's just sad because he knows he's lying. That guy knows he's lying.
No, he's not.
He knows he's lying.
He's actually great at crafting his
that guy
his
knows
sentences.
he's
For
lying.
the third time, and Republicans are still yet to impeach Biden even once. Do you see
Which that should tell you the story.
that picture? You wonder why our side always loses because we don't use the power that we have when we have it.
No, because legally, it's no basis.
Shout out to Vince Dow.
Vince Dow is
Yeah.
great.
No, of course.
He was on the show.
This guy's a showman. Yeah, he's a showman.
He's good. He was on the show. I wanted him to come on the show with you because honestly,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really a political person. I'm more of like, I have opinions on things. But I just a lot of like what the Democrats have been doing, like the whole
But you don't even know what the Democrats have been doing.
bro.
Like,
The Pride Day at the White House with the fucking chick like flashing the White House.
So you were upset about having a Pride Day at the White House, or the fact that she like what upset you about the Pride Day at the White House?
Well, her actions were condemned by the White House, but that still wasn't good enough.
Yeah,
it's just like it's like the acceptance of all this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Well, of what? So of
like
Pride Day?
No, of just like all this like this nasty behavior.
No. So they didn't condone the flashing. They had a Pride Day to celebrate a marginalized community. One day out of the year at the White House of 365. What upset you about that?
Isn't there a transgender person on the Biden staff? The lady?
Surgeon General, something like that.
Yeah.
Chief Medical Officer.
Yeah. So what do you want?
So why are you upset with the Pride Day they had at the White House? Pride Day? Because
of what she did, the girl. They allowed her to do it.
Yeah, but her actions were condemned.
Okay, so if there was no flashing, you were fine with the Pride Day.
I wouldn't even know about the Pride Day.
Okay.
It's because of her.
Okay, so the flashing was not part of what they wanted to happen either. So next Pride Day you're fine as long as nobody flashes. You're good with the White House.
Oh,
next Pride Day.
Come on, go ahead, say it.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't find it necessary. I don't even find it necessary to have a Pride Day.
But do you find it like a nice thing? A nice thing to do?
A nice thing to do?
Yeah, just a nice thing to do.
What do you guys do for us? No.
Wait, so it isn't a nice thing to do for a marginalized community is have a day to celebrate them at the White House? That's not a nice thing to do?
You don't think it's nice for them to like
put up a menorah? She doesn't want to say it, but she does.
During
it's a nice
now?
thing to do. Like, why is being nice to people angering other people?
That's fine, but the people that we're being nice to have lost their fucking minds. It's not all of you, but a lot of you have lost your fucking minds.
But that's everything. It's not everyone. So we're celebrating the people that haven't lost their mind to celebrate.
So
themselves.
why isn't anyone speaking to the people who've lost their mind, like the girl who fucking flashed? Like, why
they
aren't
did?
They
condemn that. I'm sure she'll never be invited back to the White House, and they condemn that action.
No, she got like all these interviews.
No, the White House. We're talking the White House. I mean, of course, there might be some social media effect.
Yeah, I asked her to come on the podcast.
Yeah, see, look at you. So
you're rewarding bad behavior.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask her who the fuck she thought why she thought.
But
she
nonetheless,
could do that.
you're still giving her attention.
You could have done an open condemnation, but you invited her on the podcast, and that's going to give her more.
I've been harassing her. I stopped now. She pisses me off. I don't know. It's just like a lot of sexual.
Wait, where's the like what? Let's go to that because what's
okay? Like on her page, she has a picture of her in like a tight dress with her dick bulge. So I don't like that. I don't think that's a good example. Like, what are you doing? Are you a boy? Are you a girl? Like, what's happening?
Have you seen other men with dick bulges on the internet, and you've also DM'd them to say this is not appropriate?
No, but if you're gonna be a woman, you say you're a woman. You shouldn't. Women don't have dick bulges.
Okay. Do some women have breasts and some women don't? Have some women gone through cancer?
All women have breasts.
Have some women gone through cancer and had their breasts removed?
Yeah, that's fine.
So they don't look maybe what someone would deem a woman, but they're still a woman.
Okay.
So women can look different than what you might expect.
She's not a woman. She's a man. She is a man, and she changed herself with surgery to look like a woman, but she still has her dick and balls.
But you're saying you're almost saying you'd be fine as long as visually it comported with your idea of what a woman should look like.
I mean, what are you saying when you're showing your dick? What do you shout? What's the message?
For her, it's just part of her journey.
Exactly.
Transitioning.
Yeah.
Right. And what's funny about it is that
sexual.
How is it sexual by nature? No body is sexual by nature. We're the ones that always sexualize the human body.
Because you can see something there
just
that
like women can't show their
exists,
nipples, right?
Yeah.
Women can't show their nipples in public because it's considered sexual.
Let me just say something. If I had pants, right, and you could see my camel, is it called a camel toe?
Yeah.
If you can see, yeah, no, I don't, because I don't. I'm
monkey
not
knuckle.
I'm not really.
Toe.
I'm not really like a promiscuous sexual person. But if I wore like tight fucking underwear and you can see my camel toe, I would think that's as disgusting as her showing her dick bulge. Isn't there tucking underwear?
Only because you're sexualizing.
Yeah.
You guys are annoying. Vince, where are you?
Yeah, please come be her savior. It's just Trump. Please come be her savior.
It's just how you're viewing it, and I think
how I'm viewing it has how everyone's viewing it.
No.
How do you view it? Can I show it to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about?
Let's show him the photo, and then we have to wrap up.
But I do think a lot of times we say projection is real, and I think a lot of people project a lot of sometimes these views that they have, and you can see it. Especially
Oh, she might have. Oh no, she didn't block me. She's a weirdo. She goes to Disneyland for fun. Like, who the fuck does that?
the funnest place on earth.
How is it? What's fun about it? What's fun about it? It's not for adults, bro. It's fucking weird. If you like Disneyland, you need help.
Okay, I think we need to get you in your healing era.
Jesus. So
Nah,
far.
bro. I don't even want to go to Disneyland with my kids.
I think she literally hears that almost every episode, and we're nowhere near it.
What?
That you need to get into your healing era.
Whatever. I'm just real.
Disneyland for fun.
Like, who? No adult should go to Disneyland for fun. Let me find this fucking picture of this dick bulge. I'm sorry. Here it is. Here. That's not sexual? I mean, you might be into that, so you don't think it's sexual.
No, I don't think it's sexual. I don't think it's sexual.
What is it?
I think this is a clear photo of someone saying, this is what my version of womanhood looks to me. And that's what it is.
There is no
I don't even
version
think
of womanhood. There's only one version of womanhood.
I just
There's
think
only
it's just a picture of who it's her authentic self.
Exactly.
That's
Like, she's presenting
fucking-
herself as
I am myself. It's her level of authenticity.
Okay, whatever. I think it's nasty.
she's presenting her authentic self.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
But you would have liked it if that wasn't there, you'd been fine with the picture. Looks like a lovely photo.
Yeah, I wouldn't care. I think she's trying to say, like, I'm a nasty bitch. Look at me. I'm
That's not what I got at all.
That's what I got out of it. Like, look how nasty I am.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, she likes it though, And she's trying to find all the nasty people who like it too to DM her so they can get nasty together and just give each other fucking diseases and shit.
Are you gonna be able to put this photo so the viewers can?
She'll have to put it up.
Yeah.
What? Oh, the picture?
editor.
Yeah, not at all what I got from that photo.
Why? Because you're too happy.
Well, no,
You're
it's
too
a long
positive.
it's a Florida. It's a long dress. It looks like a nice.
But her
evening
dick is
gown.
popping out.
She's going for
Yeah.
elegance.
Yeah, there's no contours. It's just like you see something exist.
It's not like she's like fucking grabbing her junk.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
this
no
is
outline. There's
So
no outline.
you're offended by grab her by the pussy, but you're not offended by that.
Oh, because
No, one is an active sexual harassment.
and that's something that you said
That's
that you
sexual
do.
harassment to me.
A photo versus someone grabs you there.
He just said it as a joke.
I mean, the line was, "When you're a star, they let you do it."
They do. Bitches is nasty.
So it wasn't a joke. It was real. It's something he
Yeah,
does.
but
Okay.
it's funny. Like,
I don't know. It's like sexual assault.
not if you allow it. It's not sexual assault.
that
if
it
you
was
invite
definitely
it.
not the tone or the context.
Yeah,
They just let you. That's not. They
It's
just
like-
invite you.
Yeah,
If it was, they just invite you. I think it would be a different story.
Yeah, but it was as if
They just
you
let
do
you.
it, and they have no choice because what are they going to do in the middle of a room and you're Donald Trump? Oh,
Mhm.
like that sexual assault. But people were fine with it. People were
Right,
fine.
just like how people are fine with that picture, I guess.
Yeah, and they're fine with Joe
Well,
Biden's
her
president.
and that's also meant for her audience.
Yeah.
That it wasn't meant for you. Like I've never seen that photo. I never came across that photo. It was never on my feed.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know
was
who
on
this.
your feed.
I don't know. I don't know who this. I don't know who this person is. Why do you?
Because she flashed the White House and she's a nasty bitch.
So that's specifically speaking to you and the audience that matters. It never popped up. It was a story that I never heard about unless you brought it to my attention. I would not have been paying attention to this person.
Sort of like Dylan Mulvaney, who
Oh.
no one had heard of until
The Bud Light
outrage.
situation, yeah.
Until the outrage.
That
yeah.
person's mentally ill as well.
Yeah.
Shit, that's not a woman.
I don't agree with that. Yeah.
You don't think he's mentally ill?
It's
No, absolutely
seems like a perfectly sweet person.
not. Yeah.
You would trust him around your kids?
I don't
Yeah.
trust. I wouldn't trust most people around my children.
that's a
period,
no.
in general. But that has nothing to do.
Yeah.
with
Would
the
you
fact-
let him watch your kids?
Yeah. Like if we're friends and I have
If
to run
there's
to
like
the
a-
store
if
for
there's
a few
like a
minutes and come-
relationship, yeah.
No, would you let him babysit your kids?
Yeah.
If there's a relationship,
I mean, like I'm not letting
if
anyone
there's a
babysit my
rapport,
kids for more than like an hour. So an hour of time, absolutely. Yeah.
that's a whole nother set of conversations, though, too.
I wouldn't let him near my kids. He's another one who goes to
of the
Disneyland
fact,
for fun.
if I had
without
someone,
kids.
if I had someone
It's
in my
weird.
household who I had rapport with, who I had a long-term friendship with, who I could trust, who was transgender, absolutely.
No.
But there's a certain level of trust there.
Mhm.
So you believe in the global cabal of pedophiles that are running the
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah, she does.
Of course I do.
Okay, I was like,
Did
I'm
you
like-
watch for Sound of Freedom?
No, I haven't. I have not seen the movie.
But the director just got slammed for being a pedophile.
You're kidding.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Wow.
I don't believe it.
Oh, yeah, it's the government. All right, guys, we got to wrap up this very interesting episode of Tacos and Shawarma. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Shaka, again, I always appreciate your presence.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk
Appreciate
soon,
it.
guys.